Welcome to this virtual orientation and pre-departure session for the Westpac Asian Exchange Scholars Leadership Development Program, which, as you all know, will be held in Singapore next month, July 2025. Wonderful to see you all. For those of you who haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Nicholas Farrelly. I'm a professor here at the University of Tasmania, also the Pro-Vice Chancellor for Southern Tasmania, and really looking forward to getting to know you all throughout this virtual orientation over the next couple of hours. We also have just a wonderful team who will be introducing in a moment, all of whom are just so excited to be supporting your success as participants in this program. This is a further milestone in the collaboration that our university has enjoyed with the Westpac Scholars Trust. And as everybody I think can see here, there's a big group of us who are all coming together to make the most of the time that we will share in Singapore. For this evening, I'd like to begin with an acknowledgement of country. Our University of Tasmania team are mostly based in Nipaluna, Hobart, Drogheda, Tasmania, and we are, as a university, deeply committed to working in partnership with our Tasmanian Aboriginal community. I think as many of you around the Zoom room will appreciate, particularly traumatic colonial histories here on our Tasmanian islands. And as a university, we do whatever we possibly can to support the educational and other advancement of our First Nations peoples. And so I acknowledge their contributions, their stewardship of this beautiful place that we now all call home, and also acknowledge their enduring connection to country and to our incredible waterways. And I appreciate that many of you are in lots of other places with their own histories and their own struggles, and really do, I think, appreciate the way that as Australians, we connect with our Indigenous communities. And of course, I'd also like to offer special acknowledgement of any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are joining us this evening around our Zoom room. Thanks very much. So for today, we've got an agenda. We'll set out to do some introductions first of all. Then we're going to talk at least briefly about the Singapore residential program, and we'll then get ourselves into some smaller breakout groups. I think we'll probably end up having 6 groups this evening, and then we'll get into some of the nuts and bolts, and Sam from the Westpac Scholars Trust and Tyler from our University of Tasmania team will get into aspects of the logistics, and then there'll be plenty of time for questions and comments. I think by this stage we're all pretty familiar with the Zoom room interface. Please do put the cheery hellos in the chat, but also comments, questions, all of that. Very helpful if we can then be bringing it together as we provide as much information and feedback as possible. And we're really keen just to make this session as helpful and informative as we possibly can. And please don't shy away from asking questions. Of course, there will be some matters that might be best followed up individually, and please don't hesitate to identify the right people from across the great team that will be delivering the leadership development program. We're here to help. We're here to make this as great an experience as possible for all of you. And on that note, and with the acknowledgement of country and this structure in mind, I'd really like to now just take a few minutes where we will go through introductions to our team, It's a terrific team, drawing on the joint capabilities of all of the different partners who are involved in our 2025 program. And to start us off and to set some of the context for how this has all come together, because this is a particularly special year in the evolution of this Asian Exchange Leadership Development Program, I'd like to hand over to my dear friend Amy Lydon. Amy is the CEO of the Westpac Foundation and the Westpac Scholars Trust, and Amy and I have had the chance to work together now for many, many years, and very happily, including on the delivery of this program. So great to be doing it with you again, Amy, and I'll hand over to you to introduce the Westpac team.
Thanks so much, Nick, and hello, everyone. A really warm welcome to you all. It's I'm just so excited for this particular program. Obviously, we have our Asian Exchange Scholars, and a big, huge welcome to our NCP alumni scholars as well. So really, really looking forward to meeting you all in person. And yeah, we've been, as Nick said, we've been running this particular version of the program, one form or the other, for the last sort of 4 years or so. But obviously, Nick and the team has been involved even before that in this program, and Nick's been involved in other aspects of the trust since before we even had any scholars. So yeah, just great to be working with you and the team again, Nick. Yeah, we are all getting very excited. It's been a lot of planning, as you all can imagine, and it's sort of, we're getting close now, so we're all super, super excited for the program. We'll run through it a bit tonight, but have a great program in store for you all. It is one of my favorite things that we do at the Trust, not only because of the wonderful program and the learnings that I always learn something every time I do this, but also because of the wonderful team that we have, the Westpac Scholars Trust team and the UTAS team, and our alumni scholars as well that come along. So really looking forward to meeting you all that I haven't met, the NCP scholars particularly. And I want to shout out also to Claire from the NCP and Ivy as well. So wonderful to have you here tonight. But yeah, on that note, I might pass over, and you can pass over to Sam, and he can introduce himself, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Amy. Sam, over to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Amy. Look, I'll keep my introduction nice and short. As you all know me by now, I had the pleasure of meeting our NCP alumni who are joining us on the program during their interviews for their selection. Of course, I know the Westpac scholars well and truly, going through their selection sort of 6 months ago. Really looking forward to this program. It's an exciting year to be a Westpac scholar or an NCP alumni involved in the Singapore residential. As Amy alluded to, we enjoy doing this. I think not only is this program incredibly valuable in terms of the leadership development and the Asia capability uplift that it's giving young Australians, but as you can probably tell, it's also a lot of fun. So looking forward to delivering my 4th iteration of the program alongside the fantastic UTAS team, and some of my very own Asian Exchange alumni. So for the NCP alum who may not be aware, I was honoured to be a Westpac scholar myself back in 2019. So I was selected for an Asian Exchange scholarship back then. Got involved in the W100 alumni network after returning from my exchange, and after finishing my undergrad, this position became available, and I found myself leading the scholarship that I got awarded back when I was an undergrad at uni. So I've been on both sides of the fence as well. So without further ado, I think we'll hand over to my fellow Westpac Asian Exchange alum. We'll start with you, Abby.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, everyone. It's really great to be with you all. I was also an Asian Exchange scholar. I went to Singapore back in 2017, which feels like a lifetime ago now. Really looking forward to meeting you all, and obviously available between now and when we actually get to Singapore if anyone has any specific questions for me.
Thanks very much, Abby. And we'll also now get Damien into the conversation, please. Thanks.
Thank you, and lovely to be with everybody. As you can see there, Damien was a 2016 scholar, very fond memories. No surprises that I spent my exchange in China, given that is where my career focus has been since. And so very, very keen to be with everybody this trip. The residential wasn't a thing when I went on my exchange, so I'm actually very keen to be part of this program and maybe siphon a little bit of extra knowledge from the program team as well along the way with everybody else. So very much looking forward to spending the time with everybody.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks very much, Damien and Abby, Sam and Amy. And I think it's particularly important to highlight how wonderful it is to have these ongoing connections. So Sam was actually an Asian Exchange Scholar the first year that my team delivered the Leadership Development Program pre-pandemic. Shanghai 2019, great memories. And we've now, I think, really enjoyed collaboratively building up this program in Singapore. This will be, as Amy mentioned, the fourth year that our combined team has been delivering this great orientation to the region, and a chance, obviously, to get ourselves all focused on what it means as Australians to be creating the next generation of Asia capability. So with this in mind, it's a real pleasure for me to introduce our University of Tasmania team. And we'll run around the room to Sui Hun, to Kamal, Kanseng, and Tyler. And just maybe by way of context, because I've met quite a number of you previously, but just to say that for me, it's a real career highlight to be involved in this program. I've had the great opportunity now over a few decades to do a lot of work at the Australia-Asia interface. I have a background as an academic focused on political and social change in Southeast Asia, particularly my countries of focus, Thailand and Myanmar. Also spent a fair bit of time around Indonesia, and nowadays do a lot of work with government and also with business on some of their key challenges when it comes to pursuing the opportunities that this century is offering, and really hope that throughout this program I can sort of draw on some of those experiences and share what I've managed to pick up along the way. We do have just a terrific University of Tasmania team, so I'll give them all a chance to introduce themselves and talk a bit about their background and what they're excited about for our 2025 delivery. Starting with Sui Hun, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Sui Hun Chua. I am a professor of behavioral economics at UTAS, and I am the director of the Tasmanian Behavioral Lab. You can see here, plugging it a bit, but I'm going to be giving you a session about behavioral economics when we're in Singapore. I was born in Malaysia, so I'm very, very excited to sort of show you guys. No, you're not going to Malaysia, but you know, Singapore's close enough, and very excited to share with you some of the culture around the region. This is, I always say this is one of my favorite working weeks of the year, being with you guys in Singapore. So I really look forward to it.
Great. Thanks, Sui Hun. Kamal, over to you.
Hi everyone. Nice to see most of you again. So I'm manager international partnerships at the university, and so I look after our offshore programs with our international partner institutions. So born and bred in Singapore, you'll see me running around a lot in Singapore, and you'll hear more about some of us during one of the sessions. So we'll keep it to that for now.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kamal. Professor Kanseng, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. I'm Kanseng, a sociologist, anthropologist, and grew up in Singapore. Really looking forward to sharing my stories and my experiences with you there, and to tell you some of my favorite food places, which you're very welcome to join me.
Terrific. Always a highlight, Kanseng. Thanks very much. And Tyler, please. I'm not sure. Tyler might be having a little issue with the audio there. It's all right.
Tyler, you're mute, I think. That's why. No?
That's all right.
No, I don't think this is working. Can you hear me now?
We've got you now, yes.
Somehow. This is my third year supporting the Westpac program and my second year in country. So I'm really excited to do even bigger and better than previous years with you all. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks, Tyler. And Tyler's an absolute linchpin of the way we go about delivering the program. And yeah, terrific to have you involved yet again. This year, we also have involvement from the New Colombo Plan and from DFAT and Palladium. And I think Claire Crosswaite hasn't been able to join us this evening. She was doing other NCP work in Sydney this evening. But I think we do have Ivy here. Just wanted to say hi, Ivy, and give you a chance to introduce yourself.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you so much. Yes, Claire's actually supporting another NCP event in Sydney today, but I'm Ivy. I'm the acting manager of alumni and communications on the Palladium side. So the NCP alumni will receive all the comms from us, but we're very excited about this new partnership with Westpac and University of Tasmania and reinforcing Penny Wong's recent reforms to the New Colombo Plan with this partnership. So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's just magnificent, Ivy, to have you involved, and so really appreciate the support and input from you and the rest of the Palladium team. And I think, you know, as the Foreign Minister would expect from all of us, these things are big team effort and require lots of different input and experience to make them a success. So yeah, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us this evening, and yeah, looking forward to our ongoing collaboration. And so with that in mind, and appreciating that we've just needed to quickly work through those introductions, I think it would be helpful for us to take a bit of time to explain our Singapore residential program for 2025, considering the session types and just a really high level overview of the week and what you should all be expecting. So what we hope to do, and this has been a successful model over the years, is to curate for you a set of experiences in Singapore, which will encourage you to be collaborative, to maintain your curiosity, to explore a wide range of issues, including some that are going to be outside your own specialist academic or professional orientation. This is all about giving us a chance to learn together. And I think on behalf of the University of Tasmania team, I can say we always learn a lot alongside you. We'll have workshops, panel discussions. There'll be some intimate in-conversation sessions where we will get some terrific input from key leaders and experts. We start each day with what we call a breakfast circle, and so you'll each be in a group with one of or two of our team members facilitating a conversation to start each day. Great chance to reflect on where we've been and where we're going next. And then, of course, there are some social events, opportunities to get to know your fellow scholars and also to interact with a wider circle. And over the years, we've received really strong support from the Australian High Commission in Singapore and the High Commissioner himself, His Excellency Alistair Cox, is a big supporter of the program, and so we're just really looking forward to ensuring that we can make the most of our time in Singapore. It is pretty intense, and later in today's session, Sam will say a bit more about some of the approaches that we encourage you all to be taking to make the most of this, to maintain your energy, and to ensure that our group works as successfully as possible. Because I think for all of us, this is just a terrific opportunity to be ambassadors for Australia and to represent our own communities and to do so in a way that helps to support our learning learning as a group. So I hope you're feeling a bit excited at this stage. When we get to Singapore, you'll find that we'll all be staying at the Ibis on Bencoolen. It's comfortable hotel. Does a really good breakfast, I might note. It will also be bouncing down to the Mercure at Bugis from time to time for some of our activities. We'll be at Lau Pasat, which is, as many of you I think know, a terrific Singapore hawker centre with great architecture and an amazing atmosphere. And what was it, team? Recently, the Singaporean Prime Minister hosted the French president there. They had a meal together. So President Macron gave it tick of approval. Ken Seng gives it his tick of approval. What more can I say? Lau Pasat, always a great evening. And then, yeah, we move around, Australian High Commission, Hotel Gen, we'll be at the Singapore Management University for a bit, the National Arts Council, just so that you're all getting a flavour of the different elements of the Singaporean story, while we also, of course, seek to highlight connections across the wider region. So there's lots of different elements of the way that we've pulled these threads together. And when we start off in Singapore on the morning of Monday, the 21st of July, of course, we need to break the ice, which should be a bit of fun. And then a few of us will be putting you through something of a cross-cultural boot camp, which encourages us to think about our own situations, how we want to connect, how we want to make the most of our engagement across the Asian region. Then we'll spend some time hearing from members of the team about their personal stories of Asia. I think this is always a highlight, so something to look forward to before lunch on that first day. Then we're going to start to highlight those broader connections across the region before we have our afternoon tea. Opportunity to network with some of the key specialists that we're engaging, and then you're off on the amazing race. It's almost certainly going to be a hot and or wet afternoon in Singapore, but Kamal, using all of his local knowledge, pulls together an amazing program for that afternoon before we will land at Lau Pasat, where we'll have a really relaxed, casual dinner before we head back to the hotel to have a good long sleep. Back into it then on the Tuesday, starting with the breakfast circle, then a good chunk of engagement about diplomacy, facilitated by the High Commission. Then we're going to get into a more practical set of discussions about how we work through negotiating solutions in complex cross-cultural environments, drawing on some of the top expertise that's based in Singapore. Afternoon tea. So if you're getting a bit of a theme here, yep, you'll be well looked after, well fed, and then we'll have Professor Lily Kong, very notable Singaporean academic leader, nowadays the president of Singapore Management University. And so that will be, as I highlighted earlier, one of our in conversation sessions. So we will have Lily sharing her expertise, and then we have some optional evening outings, again with the expectation that we get a good night's sleep because there's still lots to do. By Wednesday, we'll be out to the art district, which is amazing. This is something that we've added into the program in recent times, including conversation with Singapore-based artists, some further discussion in panel format around creative cultural industries across the region. Something that we all love is our collaboration with the Secret Little Agency, which, because it's secret, I just won't say too much more about out right now, except to say that you should be looking forward to what we're doing then on the Wednesday afternoon. Another optional evening outing before we then bounce into Thursday. We'll have a focus on urban sustainability that morning. Then it will be Sway Hun's famous, I don't think I exaggerate, famous discussion of the behavioral economics.
Don't raise expectations.
I know, that's what the behavioral economist would say, right, Sway Hun? Well, I'm just going to raise expectations again. For the 4th year in a row, our University of Tasmania has been named world's #1 university for climate action. And Sway Hun, I'm not managing expectations at all, am I? Sway Hun's, she got a lot to say on the topic. It's really interactive, amazing, something to look forward to. So then we've got our further engagement that we're going to be locking in with a STEM orientation for that final afternoon before we have our final dinner, which tends to be slightly dressier sort of thing. You can see the rest of this was sort of highlighting, smart casual type arrangements, but we'll give you more details about what might be appropriate for that final dinner before we land on the Friday with a session where we want to focus on leveraging this kind of experience and your broader experience at the Australia-Asia interface to become an effective Asia-capable leader. And that's certainly where, so Sam runs a great session before I tend to lead the wrap-up, and then we'll have a chance to say our goodbyes and wish everybody well as we're going to be focused on where we're all going next. So it's a packed program. You can see there that we add up to well over 20 sessions. There is a lot of this that I think is, and somebody here, thanks Joseph, you're saying hyped in the chat. I like that. I've got a question here about the urban sustainability component in, will this have a STEM focus? And yeah, that's a great question. Thanks very much, Kobe, for putting that through and noting that a lot of you do have STEM and other technical orientations in your studies or in your growing professional responsibilities. We're really keen that that's going to be a key part of the program, and that's been growing over the years. Yeah, when you see the detailed rundown, I think Kobe and others with an orientation towards STEM, you'll see that there's going to be lots for you to get your teeth into. We're hoping that you can continue to build networks in those directions as well. So, and that's probably a good note from which I can say, please do put more questions into the chat and send them to me directly if that's how you'd prefer to go. So let me just pause there before we jump into the breakout discussions. Can I just check with everybody that that makes sense? I could get some nods, some thumbs up, I don't know, some party emojis, whatever we've got. Thanks very much there. I can see some thumbs up coming through. Perfect. Thanks, Zoe. Yeah, no, we're really excited about how this 2025 program has come together. It will require of all of us and thanks Lenny, love that bit of good emoji game. We're going to have a lot of fun. Yes, it will be demanding from time to time. It'll be hot. We'll be moving around. We will be moving into different kinds of contexts, and so there will just be a requirement that we can all find ourselves changing gears as we move through the different kinds of sessions. But we'll be providing lots of guidance, lots of opportunities for everybody to also reflect on what we've been learning along the way. And then, yeah, we're setting ourselves up for longer term success. That's right, Tilly, that we do wrap up on the Friday at lunchtime. I might just hand over Sam. I think you can probably see Tilly's question there just about some of the logistics in terms of hotels, or Kamal, if somebody wanted to jump in on that one.
Yeah, so hotels accommodation is covered from the Sunday night when you arrive, and then we'll check out of the hotel on Friday morning before we finish at 1 p.m. on Friday. So accommodation is not covered for Friday night. So you've got 5 nights from Sunday night until Thursday night, checking out on Friday morning.
Thanks, Tilly. Great question. And a lot of these practical sorts of things, if you've got questions along those lines, please do just throw them into the chat, because, you know, we're all keen to make sure that we're on the same page, and, you know, appreciating that everybody's got planning to do around how this is going to work. Fran's got a helpful question there, Sam, about the possibility of an airport transfer on Sunday. What's the advice there?
Yeah, no airport transfers organized. Think of it as your first Asian exchange adventure, getting yourself from Changi Airport to Bencoolen Hotel.
Great, thanks, Fran. Excellent question. Love that, and thanks, Sam. That's really good feedback. Oliver's got a good question here about formal dress or casual, and this is something that, yeah, Sam, do you maybe just want to start on this? And I do sometimes defer to Kamal and some of the other members of our team on how best to dress ourselves along the way in Singapore. But Sam, would you like to go first?
Yeah, in general, the dress code throughout the program will be smart casual. As Nick alluded to, there will be the Thursday dinner at the very least, which will be a little more formal. And then usually on the Friday, we dress it down a bit and have more of a casual conversation to wrap it up. So that'll be more of a casual day. So smart casual is the default. We'll provide instructions beforehand and during the week of what to expect. So you'll know what to pack, and you'll know when you need to dress up or dress down.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks very much, Sam. That's really helpful, and I can see Paris putting in a really good comment there. If the people coming in at similar times on Sunday, get an Uber together from the airport. That's getting lots of love hearts and the in love emoji. Terrific. And yeah, getting into the IBIS at Bencoolen is pretty straightforward. You know, it's depending on what mode of transport you take. Yeah, roughly half an hour from the airport or something like that. So, but yeah, a few different options for how you get across town. And yeah, some coordination probably makes sense for those of you coming in at similar times. So that's been a terrific start. Appreciate everybody's enthusiasm and engagement. So what we're going on the conversation here, and you've obviously experienced this back in 2019 as a Westpac Asian Exchange Scholar, and now obviously for a number of years responsible for the program. Do you want to give us your read on expectations and mindset, and then I'll work through the following slides when you give me the nudge. Sam, over to you.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Nick. So I guess to put it simply, preparation for this program certainly doesn't end with what to pack and how to access your phone data. This is ultimately a leadership program, and one of the most important things is ensuring you're showing up as a leader. So I think it's important to keep in mind that, you know, literally hundreds of people applied to participate in this program, and we've selected the 47 of you specifically. We did that because we think you have leadership potential, and now we have certain expectations of how you engage with the program and engage with each other as well. So throughout the week, we'll be engaging in challenging topics from a range of diverse perspectives. And sometimes those topics won't always align with your values. Sometimes they'll be outside of your field of study or your area of expertise. And that's okay. In fact, it's a really good thing. To be a well-rounded leader, you need to explore topics that you're not comfortable with, and otherwise, you'll live your entire life sort of working in a silo and interacting in an echo chamber. So in terms of the mindset we want you to bring to this program, we want you to be curious when exploring topics outside of your comfort zone, even when you're not an expert. We want you to stay open-minded when you hear from people that you might not agree with, but think critically about the things that you hear. Let yourself be challenged and where appropriate, challenge your peers as well. Also, I won't lie to you, as Nick has teased at the start, the LDP is a pretty intense program. So it's fast-paced, mentally challenging, and it's physically demanding, but that is by design. So we encourage you to trust us. Once you're outside of your comfort zone, that's where a lot of the growth will take place. So we encourage you strongly to push yourself and to lean in. Trust the process that we've built out for you, but it's always with the caveat that you know your limitations far better than we do. So it's important that you bring your best self to the program every day. That means self-care and rest are going to be important throughout the week. You may feel the want to stay up late and explore the exciting city of Singapore, but the most important thing is that you're bringing the best version of yourself, and that person is showing up every morning and engaging with the program authentically. If you need to take a break and withdraw to collect your energy, there will be spaces and opportunities for you to do just that. Just make sure that you're communicating with staff. Equally important is ensuring that you support each other, because this is a team effort. We believe in adaptive leadership, which means using different attributes in your leadership tool belt, depending on what the situation requires. The residential will present a lot of different situations for you to practice different leadership skills. Sometimes you'll need to lead from the front, making decisions democratically, bringing others along that journey and speaking to influential people. But perhaps more frequently, you'll need to lead from behind as well. So you'll need to lift up those around you, make space for their voices, and ensure everyone is heard and valued throughout the program. If you're someone who usually jumps in to answer questions first, maybe sit back and see if someone else fills the silence. If you're someone who usually likes to sit back and observe, well, now is your time to put your hand up early and get involved. Remember, this program is about leadership development, so it's not a competition for who is the most effective or loudest leader. It's about training those leadership muscles that you aren't necessarily used to flexing. And just like working out, it can be painful and awkward at first, but the muscles will get stronger over time and the more you use them. So finally, before we move on from this slide, we'll be sending out a pre-departure survey following this session. So we'll collect a bunch of information that is vital for your safe participation throughout the program. In this survey, all participants, both Westpac scholars and NCP alumni, will need to agree to our Scholar Code of Conduct. This code sets out the culture and the behavioural expectations for how you should be engaging with each other and bringing your best self throughout the week. So read it, understand it, and practice it throughout the program. On the Monday morning in Singapore, you'll also be given a chance to brainstorm and curate some more attributes, build your own code of conduct as a group as well. Next slide, I think. Thanks, Tyler. So your health, safety, and well-being are obviously our top priority throughout the residential. Support is available and the entire delivery team is here to help you. The Australian government obviously provides up-to-date travel advice via the Smart Traveller website. The link is on screen. Please ensure you're checking Smart Traveller regularly for those updates regarding Singapore, regarding your exchange destination, and any extra travelling you might be doing around the peripheral of the program as well. The Singapore Ministry of Health is also an important source of information for health advice, including vaccinations. And all participants are required to be covered by travel insurance for the entirety of the program, inclusive of their travel. Westpac scholars, please do check with your university whether your insurance you receive as part of your exchange program includes the Singapore residential. For NCP alumni, NCP will be organising your travel insurance for you. And finally, if you ever feel physically unwell, it's important you notify a member of staff or someone from the delivery team, so we can take the necessary precautions to ensure everyone remains safe. In the comms following this session, we'll be providing you with a travel pack. So this pack has lots of logistical information on Singapore, on the program itself, including apps to download, dress code throughout the week, advice on what to pack, Singaporean weather, and even more. We'll also provide contact information for you to add me on WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is going to be our primary form of communication throughout the week in Singapore. We'll have a group chat with all staff and all participants, and we'll be using this for announcements and comms relating to the program. So it's important that everyone has access to this group chat throughout the week. So please ensure you download WhatsApp now and create an account if you don't already have one. Also, we strongly advise you to download the My ICA app. That's MYICA, and use this for your entry into Singapore. It's very simple and straightforward. It's the official government app for entering Singapore, and makes getting through Changi Airport an absolute breeze on arrival. We do suggest you bring some cash with you because there'll be opportunities to explore Singapore's amazing hawker centre culture. Some vendors won't always accept card. Our hotel and home base will be the Ibis Singapore and Bencoolen, otherwise known as my second home at this point. When you check into the hotel on the 20th of July, you'll need to message me on WhatsApp to confirm that you've arrived, and I'll respond with a number between 1 and 47. It's incredibly important that you commit this number to memory. Finally, the Sunday is a free evening, but do rest up. Breakfast is provided at the hotel each morning. On Monday, please have breakfast and be ready for departure in the lobby at 8:30. Don't worry, all of these sort of instructions will be shared via the WhatsApp group chat every morning. So everything will be put in writing for you. But in general, please do be punctual. With such a large group, your punctuality is going to be super important throughout the week. The elevators at the Ibis are notoriously slow, to be honest, especially during peak hour in breakfast time. So give yourself plenty of time when going to and from your hotel room because you'll need to be in the lobby early. Singaporean traffic is notoriously busy, so bus departure times are non-negotiable. It may not be 2020 anymore, but COVID still remains a risk, especially when traveling in a large group. So please ensure you're aware of any vaccination requirements when you're traveling. This is your responsibility. As a precaution, we do recommend that all scholars do a RAT test prior to arriving in Singapore before you get on the flight, especially if you've been traveling elsewhere before arriving, or if you're symptomatic even just mildly. You may also want to wear a mask while traveling in large groups, for example, when you're on the plane to Singapore. During the week itself, use common sense, maintain good hand hygiene. And if you do develop symptoms, no matter how mild, please notify staff. Remain in your room for further instructions, and we'll make sure we take good care of you. We're here to support you no matter what you need. Finally, your mental health and well-being are important as well. First and foremost, you need to make sure you communicate with us. You can do so by approaching us in person or using WhatsApp. I want to acknowledge that not only is the program demanding, but you're away from your normal support network as well. So communication is the most important thing. We can't help if we don't know what's going on. When you are on exchange, your university are your primary contact for support and can connect you with appropriate services where relevant as well. Westpac scholars also have the ability to use the Westpac Access service. So this is a service that provides confidential mental health support from qualified healthcare professionals. And note that this service is confidential, so nothing's reported back to us at the Scholar HQ team. Details to use Westpac Access will be provided to you in the travel pack I mentioned earlier. Last thing I'll mention is about your Asia Capable Leadership Journal. So the residential is a really information-dense week. You'll find that days may start to bleed together. And when you're in this kind of environment, it can be difficult to remember key learnings from day to day. So Your exchange experience, Westpac scholars will also have many opportunities for you to develop your cultural competency and Asia-capable leadership skills. And at Scholar HQ, one common thread throughout all our leadership development programs we've found is the importance of journaling. During these information-dense experiences, it's important to reflect on the experience that you're having. And journaling is a very simple but effective way to do that. So we have curated an Asia-capable leadership journal for you. There are a few prompts for each day throughout the residential for you to reflect on at the end of the day. We've also created a custom copy for the NCP alumni, which doesn't have the section at the end for the exchange. The journal itself is just for you. There's no need to show it to me or anyone else. But for Westpac scholars, accompanying the journal will also be the Asia Capable Leadership Report. So this report has 5 different questions. It's not very onerous, around 500 words per question. And you'll be required to submit this to me at the end of your exchange. The report is reflective. It's being curated by me with feedback from the academic team at UTAS, and it draws on elements of the journal. So it's important that you use both. Being realistic, you're going to be busy on your exchange and you'll probably miss an entry here or there, which is completely fine. But I do encourage you to try your best to be consistent. The journal and the report will be emailed to you shortly following this session, and we can make it available for download on the UTAS Milo site, which is my absolutely seamless segue to pass back to the UTAS team and the wonderful Kamal to discuss Milo Access.
Great, thanks very much, Sam, and thanks for such a thorough overview and for giving everybody really important set of information there. Just before we move ahead, I just wanted to check, are there any other quick questions for Sam? I can see that Vedant has asked hotel rooms at Ibis Bencoolen shared or individual, and Amy has just confirmed that they are individual rooms. Annalise has asked how much money would you need? Oh, I think the short answer, yeah, Tyler's come back. I was wondering who was going to jump in. Yeah, the answer is probably not a great deal overall, Annalise, but we might even, and yeah, it's getting some lol reactions there from around the room. I don't know, Sam, do we have sort of some advice on like what a sort of appropriate amount of money to have on hand might be?
Not off the top of my head, but I think perhaps Kamal and I will put our heads together. We'll come up with a bit of an estimate, a range. We can pop that in the travel pack and send it out.
Yeah, that's really good. Thanks, Sam, and a really good question, Annalise. So let's take that one on notice, and we'll come back with a good, solid response. I think Tyler and Kamal, if we could just say a bit more about the online resources that we will have available and that we'll be encouraging everybody to access beforehand. Tyler, Kamal, would you like to jump in? Thanks, Kamal.
Sorry, Tyler's having audio issues, so I'll just jump in here. Hope everyone can hear me. So we do have this online platform. It's called Milo. So shortly, either end of this week or sometime next week, you'll be receiving an email from the University of Tasmania about login information. So do not be alarmed if you're not a University of Tasmania student. We do get that feedback quite a bit, but it will give you information on how to log in, and this is where we will be housing a recording of this pre-departure program. And also we'll have a breakdown of each session, and also some light readings and some other information to help you prepare better for some of the engagements that will that'll be exciting. So yeah, We will be also providing a hard copy of the program upon your arrival, and maybe I'll just share as well. We shared it in our breakout room earlier. Upon arrival, other than texting Sam that you've arrived safely after checking in, you'll be receiving a bag with a water bottle, a hard copy of the program, and a few other knickknacks which I wouldn't share at the moment, so it's a surprise.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Kamal. We've got a really good question that's come through from Stephanie here. Will we need to bring a laptop or other device to sessions? Sam?
I think your phone will suffice. I think Sweehoon might have something in store, but a laptop won't be necessary.
Yeah, so for my session, please bring your mobile phones or laptop, iPads if you have like a little mobile device. That's it.
Yeah, and I think also because there will be messages, not that we'll be sitting on our phones necessarily, but there'll be messages coming through on WhatsApp throughout the day, on most days, and we just kind of keep ourselves focused on where we're up to and what needs to happen next. So yeah, good idea, Stephanie, just to have a sort of a device that's connected to WhatsApp at least. But yeah, no need to be lugging a laptop around. So that's but yeah, really good question. And we might actually we will take some of these ones that are coming through, and we'll just make sure that there's a good solid FAQ on some of these things, because yeah, they're all good. And Tyler's just explained that yeah, we can't hear her right now, and again, strong emoji game. I like it. Thanks everybody. So we're coming towards the end of our session for today. But before we wrap up, I'm just really keen to get other questions or comments, concerns that you might have, anything that you might not have been able to raise during the small group. More than happy just to hear anybody put your hand up and just and speak out, or again, the chat function's working splendidly tonight, so happy for any other comments or questions to go in there. And as we do, I'll just sort of check in with the team to make sure that we're not missing anything along the way.
May I jump in with a question?
Yeah, thanks, Hamad. Over to you.
Beautiful. So first, thanks again for the opportunity. As an NCP alumni, really appreciate the chance to be going to Singapore with everyone. And yeah, I suppose on that note, I would love to hear what sort of brought about the collaboration between NCP alumni or NCP and Westpac. Because I know, for example, from my perspective, I feel the value I can bring, for example, is Indonesia at this stage is not a destination that you can go through as part of Asia Exchange, and there's particular learnings or approaches to work and lifestyle that might be useful with respect to, for example, if some of the Westpac scholars end up working in Singapore, they might deal with a lot of Indonesians or Malaysians, for example. So I know that could be a perspective I could bring, but I know for my own learning, I'm really looking forward to example seeing, what might be the next maybe language to pick up or the next effort or something for me to go about doing in the region. So I'd love to hear, I guess, from an overview, what you're kind of hoping broadly the NCP scholars will bring or NCP alumni will bring with regards to interactions with the Westpac scholars, and then vice versa. It'll all be very natural, I know, but I guess just that overview would be great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Hamad. Really thoughtful comment, and thanks also for drawing us in into your own ambitions for the program. I think that was really nicely put. I might, if it's okay, Amy, draw you in on the conversation at this point, just to perhaps explain some of the evolution and what it is that you'd be looking for on behalf of the Westpac Scholars Trust, and then we'll see if any others want to jump in, and I might also. Because I can see already that you're getting some thumbs up there for the great question. So let's give this the attention that it deserves. But I'll start with Amy. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks. Yeah, great question, Hamad. Thank you. Yeah, I guess from our perspective, Westpac Scholars Trust, this is the importance of Asia to Australia it's one of our our pillars. It's one of our impact areas that we're very passionate about. We've been running the Asian Exchange Program for over 10 years, and I suppose that's why I'm just so excited about this opportunity for us to be collaborating with the NCP and to bring scholars like yourself to into the fold of what we're doing, and hopefully even be able to do more of that. Because ultimately we're all trying to do the same thing, and that's building Asia capable leadership into the next generation of Australians, and we fundamentally believe that will be critical to Australia's future. It is critical to Australia's future. So we see this as a really important program, but we're in a sense a very small slice of that. And what NCP and DFAT are doing at scale is just so impressive. So I think in terms of that's the bigger picture, but in terms of the scholars and what you bring, and I suppose it's even in the breakout groups before, we had two of the NCP alum, and actually one Asian exchanger that Westpac scholar that also did the NCP exchange as well. So and just I think even just seeing in those interactions, there's just so much that you will be able to share about your own experiences, and give back and also learn from our scholars as well. I mean, I very much see it as it'll be great to kind of have that peer support and peer learning, and in a very practical sense, that kind of exchange, that knowledge exchange as well. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much, Amy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks, Hamid. Sam, anything to add further from your perspective?
Not necessarily that Amy hasn't very eloquently covered. I think that we're finding leadership development is the thing we do really well. NCP, we're keen for these sort of opportunities to be presented to their alumni and their scholars. So it did seem like quite a natural partnership to explore. It is just a 1-year pilot to see how the partnership works. So nothing is being committed further into the future. I think similarly on the more personal level, obviously we've got 37 Asian exchange scholars about to embark on their overseas experience, bringing in 10 NCP alumni who have recently returned from an overseas experience. There's a lot of natural learnings to be had there. So I think that's the overall sort of approach that we're having, but we also were very clear when we spoke with NCP and with the DFAT team that we did want this to be a naturally valuable program for NCP scholars to engage with. We didn't necessarily want to be extracting your expertise for the benefit of our scholars. We wanted to make sure that there's something for you to get out of the experience as well. So that's why we're coming at this with embedding you into the program, just as though you were a Westpac scholar. And making sure that those connections are coming about authentically, and there will be peer mentorship that comes about quite naturally, as you said. But you're here along the ride, and we hope you get just as much out of this program as our Westpac scholars do as well.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, thanks, Sam. And I think that's the key point here, Hamid. And I can see Tilly's also sort of asked about, how does such a thing come about? And maybe on another occasion, I'll get into more of the details. My team are all smiling, because it goes to the big team effort. That's ultimately what this is about. It's about ensuring that Australia is drawing together all of the different capabilities and initiatives that we have. It's coincidental in a sense that both the NCP and the work of the Westpac Scholars Trust are now both about a decade old. And I think that's also a moment where there tends to be consideration of what's happened, what's gone well, and what the next stage can look like. And in this case, I think it's a really exciting partnership. It's now up to all of us to make the most of it. That would be my key message today, and certainly when we're in Singapore, and seeing ourselves here as in every respect one big team. Certainly that's the way that our university's worked with Westpac over the years, and the fact that now we're doing this in collaboration with DFAT and NCP, I think is just amazing. And yeah, speaks to all of our shared ambitions. So, you know, like a few other things that we're doing here, I'll just sort of lean on the concept slightly more heavily than I usually do at 6:30 on a Thursday night. But doing this like this is exactly what it is that we want Asia-focused Australian leadership to be all about. So I'll leave you all to sort of draw your own insights from that, but I think there is something here that's that is potentially very special in terms of collaboration between Australia's oldest company, Australia's fourth oldest university, the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and as we evolve over time, so many more. So thanks for the chance, Hamid, to talk about this, because you know this is a really key theme, and I can appreciate that there's lots of other comments coming through, and they're mostly I can see being answered in the chat. And thank you very much to the team for offering all of the feedback on some of these key logistical points. Yes, and there won't be, that's right, language-based formal activities. But if you want to be, particularly with Kamal, Swee Hoon, Kan Seng, considering some of the linguistic elements of the Singapore-Malaysia story, Swee Hoon, you've been known to take a strong turn in that direction.
Yeah, we will teach you some choice words.
And Ken Seng's already started there in the chat.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Consing is H with the H, boleh, not bolek.
All right, so we've got it's already starting, and I'm just making sure. I just want to check in here on the questions that have all come through. I think we've got good answers to all of them there in the chat. Are there any other questions that anybody would like to ask? If not, this is where we're up to. Really excited to have the chance to do this with you all next month. As I hope you've picked up today, our team's just raring to go. Really looking forward to sharing the experience with you. There'll be a lot of learning. We'll cover a lot of ground, and we will, I think, yeah, all get a huge amount out of this. We've got Fran, that's very helpful, asking, is there anyone who's not yet in the Instagram chat who'd like to join? Get in touch with Fran. I saw some other communication around travel plans coming through, and thanks for those of you. That was Zoe, giving a bit of a opportunity for others to be involved in different things that are going on. That's terrific. And as Sam says here, yes, please reach out for anything that hasn't been answered, and we'll obviously have lots of other responses and details in the travel pack. Before we then, and thanks Kobe, yep, great question. Sam, when are we going to get the travel pack?
Next week by email.
Perfect, over email. Yep, great. And then Josephine, thanks very much. You're jumping in there saying, yes, please connect up over Instagram. Fraser's got his hand up, so we'll go to you. Thanks, Fraser.
Good evening, guys. Thank you. That was a very informative session. Really enjoyed it. And it's, yeah, I'm super excited now. Cannot wait. Just a super quick one at the end here. It was mentioned that there would be a WhatsApp chat amongst all of the attendees. I've been part of things before where at the conclusion of the program, the WhatsApp is closed down or it doesn't remain active. Will that be a possibility? Of course, we'll make our own individual connections, but it's always so good to keep the conversation going after the fact. So I just wanted to see if that would be a possibility.
Yep, love that, Fraser. Sam, you're the master of all things WhatsApp.
Yeah, so the WhatsApp group will remain open after the program concludes. It's actually a really handy way for me to best my Westpac scholars to complete surveys and the like. So it'll remain open for as long as it needs to. If people get sick of the notifications, they can always mute them. But we will have plenty of opportunity for everyone to connect on WhatsApp or LinkedIn or your platform of choice throughout the week.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, that's terrific, Fraser. And just for anybody who's in the mood, because I did indicate to the small group I was in earlier that a whole bunch of us perhaps not so red hot on all things social media, or at least speaking for myself, but reasonably active on LinkedIn. A whole lot of us are. So do feel free, just even as a preemptive thing, just connect up with us over LinkedIn, and that's, I think, really nice way of sharing certain kinds of sort of content and staying in the loop on a bunch of things that we all care about. So so yeah, do that right now if you're in the mood. And any other, Kamal's saying that I'm the LinkedIn guy. Here I was just trying to pretend that I'm really not much for it, but yeah, maybe I do like a bit of a LinkedIn burst from time to time. So watch out. Cool, and everybody's putting their Instas through. I don't have one of those, so apologies. And Josephine's got a question there, Sam. I think that might bounce in your direction.
Yeah, so that's just for the NCP alumni. So that'll be hosted in partnership with DFAT and Palladium. I don't have any more information at the moment other than that date. So Ivy will get back to you shortly.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for that, Josephine, and thanks, Emma. Excellent. And I think here, just as we're all sort of bouncing these different questions around, you know, I appreciate everybody's sort of understanding that, you know, in this pilot of joining forces, DFAT, UTAS, Westpac and Palladium will all just sort of be working through aspects of the logistics and the ways that it all comes together, which is great. And I think we're just off to an excellent start here. So we couldn't ask for more in terms of engagement and enthusiasm. So thanks, everybody. Before we close then, Amy, I'd just like to maybe give you a chance. And the tradition at all of these things, as you're going to find, is that Sam will have the final word. But before we throw across to Sam, Amy, just over to you.
I'm very excited about the program. And thanks everyone for making the time to be here tonight. Yeah. Over to you, Sam.
Thanks, Amy. Sam.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. And a massive thank you to Nick and the rest of the UTAS team for so seamlessly executing this pre-departure session. I feel like this session starts to make it feel more and more real. I don't know if you agree, Kamal, seeing everyone start to materialize as their little faces on the side of my screen in a Zoom room means that, yeah, we're touching down in Singapore in like less than 5 weeks from this point, I think. Really looking forward to this program. As I said at the top, I think this is the most exciting year to be a Westpac Asian Exchange Scholar. And dare I say, I think the merger of these two networks is something that can be very, truly special. We'll have to wait and see what the future holds. So really keen to see you all start to materialize even more in the lobby of the IBIS Singapore on Bencoolen. Then it will certainly start to feel real. In the meantime, keep a very close eye on your inbox because the comms and the instructions will start rolling in pretty fast from this point. And making sure that you're getting back to us promptly is going to ensure that we have a smooth lead up to the takeoff that is Singapore. So keep an eye on your inbox. Reach out to me if you've got any questions. Feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn as well. I've got my email in the chat. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in Singapore on the 20th of July. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your night.